confirmed that our electoral integrity was not compromised. So yes, I receive regular briefings. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
That's very interesting. He has received briefings. The question then is, did he receive those briefings since November 7th, when Global News reported that CSIS had said that the Chinese government had funneled money to nearly a dozen candidates? So the Prime Minister says he knew nothing about money from China to candidates. However, presumably he would have been curious enough to ask when he read about it in the news. Did he?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Speaker, I think you and all Canadians understand that I need to be deliberate about my answers when it comes to a matter of national security. Canada and our allies are regularly targeted by foreign states like China, including during our elections. Our national security agencies under this government are taking more action than ever, and indeed are among the global leaders on countering global foreign interference in elections. We created an independent panel to evaluate foreign interference threats to Canadian elections that confirms that election integrity was not compromised. I am briefed, but more, all parties are briefed on threats.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The question is, has he been briefed since November 7th about whether or not a foreign power funneled money to Canadian federal candidates? Yes or no?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as I have said a number of times in this House, to this moment, I have not, in all the briefings I've received, there has never been information around candidates receiving money from China in the 2011 election, in the 2019 election, or in the 2021 elections. We have independent public servants who are engaged to oversee the integrity of the elections. They confirm the elections did complete themselves with full integrity.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Did he ask for briefings on the allegations that were in the November 7th story? Yes or no?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I know the member opposite who sat in a cabinet understands the importance of respecting national security guidelines. On top of that, I know the member opposite understands how important it is to assure the integrity of our elections because he was the Minister for Elections Integrity under that previous government. But under that previous government, while he was making reforms to our Elections Act, he did absolutely nothing on foreign interference. What we did, Mr. Speaker, was bring in a number of mechanisms, a number of new tools to ensure the integrity of our elections.
Leader of the Opposition.
So he wakes up in the morning, he reads a story that says that a foreign government funneled money to Canadian federal candidates, and he can't tell us if he picked up the phone or face-to-face asked his officials if these allegations were true. So we'll move on to a next question. The Prime Minister said yesterday when I asked if there was any electoral interference from a foreign government that there was none that significantly changed the outcome of the election. Was there any interference to his knowledge, yes or no?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Like I just said, Canada and most of our allies are regularly subject to foreign interference from various states, including China, on an ongoing basis and including during our elections. And that is something, Mr. Speaker, that the member opposite would know if he'd paid attention when he was Minister of Elections, but also if he were to ask to his two colleagues who are previous leaders of the Conservative Party from 2019 and 2021, whose teams were briefed before, during and after those elections on foreign interference. Right.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister denies that there was Chinese interference. He said in English that there had been very little influence or no significant interference. I wonder at what point Does the interference go from insignificant to a lot? The Chinese community in Papineau, very quickly after a Chinese bank was authorized in Canada. Is that interference or influence? The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Président.
Mr. Speaker, my honourable colleague is raising an important question, and that is, should politicians and partisan accusations determine whether or not there was interference, problematic interference in our democracy and in our elections? And that's why we've put the decision in the hands of our national security agencies and officials. That's why I created a panel precisely to look at these issues in an objective and independent way, in an arm's length manner. And they have reviewed the elections in 2019 and 2021. The honourable member for Belleuil-Chambly. Allow me to make better use of my 35 seconds. In 2016, $70 million coming from the Chinese community in Toronto and Montreal were funneled into the riding of Papineau, the Prime Minister's riding, at a time when a Chinese bank was seeking the green light in Canada. Once again, is that influence or interference? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, questions about interference and in our democratic processes and our elections, those are fundamental and very important questions. I understand that the honourable member is trying to challenge the integrity of our institutions, but Canadians can be confident that in the processes that we have set up to ensure the integrity of our elections, to review the integrity of our elections, we can confirm that despite the fact that there is ongoing interference in our country, our democratic institutions and elections were not affected. The honourable member for Burnaby South.
Dr.
Guylaine Larose in Saint-Justine at the hospital there said she'd never seen the ERs so overcrowded, never had so many children had respiratory illnesses. Family doctors are exhausted. Parents are in distress, and this Prime Minister is sitting on his hands. When are the Liberals going to wake up and provide support like they did during the pandemic to save our healthcare system? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we respect provincial jurisdiction. We can see clearly how much Canadians are suffering because their healthcare system is overworked and is having trouble meeting the demand and the need. That's why we're working with the provinces and territories. We're working with them to deliver results in healthcare. Yes, we will provide more funding, but we will also provide more tools to ensure that our system is improved upon, and we will be there for Canadians.
For Burnaby South.
Leadership means finding solutions, not hiding behind excuses. We have a